Okay, good evening, class. Last time we looked at something interesting in our class of literature. Last time when we met, we introduced literature and we looked at it a little bit. So today, we are going to continue from where we stopped. Last time when we met, we said when you're looking at oral literature, basically oral literature deals with hearing, it's more speaking, it's not like written literature. However, today I want us to look at something, as we're all aware that for somebody to come up with a good structure or a good building, he or she must, in the first place, have cement that he will use and so on, so as like to come up with a good structure. So today we're also going to look at the elements. What elements make or comprise literature? Okay? So we're going to share something together. Okay, we're going to look at it. Let us, it is opening. It's going to, basically, we're going to look at what it is all about, okay? So I believe there is something you're seeing. Last time when we met, we were looking at oral African literature. We defined in the other previous lesson of ours. And we all left the classroom when everybody was contented. So today, we're going to look at the elements. What makes oral literature? So if I may ask, is Naume in class? Okay, Naume, please, would you, what are you seeing here? There are those diagrams that we have used. Naume, please.
Yeah, based on what I'm seeing.
Yes.
We have people who are dancing, and probably you can't dance without singing. That, though the picture is not all that clear, but I assume and I know that they are singing and dancing at the same time.
Are you seeing them very well?
Yes, I'm seeing them.
Yes. Okay. What of Anne? Anne, what do you see? Anne?
What I see here.
Yes.
What are you hearing?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
What I see me probably okay. Of course I see these people dancing, but what I pick from the pictures is tradition, culture, something like that. It's all about tradition. Okay, these things they used to do traditional, like storytelling. You see, there are things I'm seeing, singing, dancing. Yeah, that's what I observe in the picture.
Okay. Oh, yeah, all the answers are correct. Okay, now basically, when we are looking at oral literature, last time I remember in the other lesson of ours, we defined and we had even given ourselves some assignment, like we can consult from our elders. So basically today, when we're looking at the elements of oral African literature, we have to first and foremost understand that when we're looking at oral African literature, our main center of interest is in our African setting. So everything rotates within Africa. We don't take literature that is outside Africa. Initially, before this written literature came in, oral literature existed before written literature. Written literature borrows a hand from oral literature. So basically, when we're looking at oral African literature, it is something beautiful. It is something that is practical. We speak. It is not something that we read. And when we're looking at it, we have people who have storytelling. There's that aspect of kingship. I think you're seeing this person here, the one that I'm trying to enlarge. So initially, Africa had kings, and these kings were like the overall seers. They would do everything for us. They were a source of identity. They were a source of like inspiration. They were our leaders. That is like one of the elements. That's like one of the key aspects that enable us to understand oral literature. It was not only about kings. Oral African literature also had time of storytelling. There was nothing like maybe they read a story, but instead, elders would sit down. Then they call the little ones. Then they tell them stories. These stories were in form of like meant to encourage them. For example, the boys were told of stories of war. Girls were told how to look after their homes when they grow. Such kind of stories. And these stories that they would tell the young ones, they were not just for fun. There was something they were targeting at the end of the day. For example, they were targeting hard work, society, like the societal norms. How should we behave? Okay, that's like also another key aspect. Still, when we are to look at all African literature, there were also dances. Remember, we're looking at identity. There is something where we all belong. We had our special dances. Are you seeing these people here? They are different. The Waganda, they have theirs. The Itesots have theirs, and so on. It is these dances that bring us, that show that union in us. They show that aspect, like we have somewhere we belong. Okay? And then there are also other key aspects still on this element of literature. This oral African literature. Remember, everything is African. It is not imported like the written literature. Okay? Remember us having the lesson of that written literature some time back. Okay? So you go ahead. Are you seeing the way it is? There was that aspect of wrestling. Still, these are identities of the African literature. Okay? But at the end of this is still another example of dancing. Okay? Are you seeing there was that aspect of helping one another as portrayed by this person? Okay? And then there was also the dressing code. Okay? Was also used to portray how Africans lived. Okay? And it is not that maybe we waste time. When we look at all African literature, there is a lot that we learn. Okay? We don't just come to school, we learn it and forget, but we go home at the end of the day with a lot of information. Are we together? Now, are we together?
Yes.
Any question, please? Naomi?
On my side, no question.
Okay, that's good. So basically, that is the aspect when we are looking or when we are talking about oral African literature. It is something of that kind. Okay? So I will beg the remaining, can we say, do you people have anything like that we can add on top of this? Like when that maybe you must have come across.
Yeah, maybe
that we can.
one.
Yes.
Now, when we talk of oral literature, like oral literature
Yes.
in general,
Yes.
oral literature, it involves words of mouth, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
something that is handed down, that is passed down from one generation to another by words of mouth. So we also need to note that from this picture we are seeing that oral literature also involves some kind of a drama, like active participation.
Yes.
When you see that the picture where probably the grandfather is trying to tell a story to his children, he raised up his hand.
This one?
Trying maybe to, he's raising up his hand, trying maybe to, should I say, a kind of elaborating on something, I don't know, but oral literature involves some active participation in it. There is some bit of drama in it. Even in the dances, people are dancing, that is participation. That
this
is
one? Okay. What of Anne? Do you have anything to add?
Nothing much to add. I think it's fine because or African literature.
And
I've said I think it's fine. I think the visualization is okay.
Okay, then basically still, if we are to consider oral African literature, what is important is we should understand that all, be it oral or written, there is a big key role oral African literature does. We borrow a lot from oral literature. What we get in oral literature is definitely what we transfer to written literature. So in other words, written literature has its origins from oral African literature. In other words, oral literature. It is that aspect of demonstration. It is too much. It is more of a practical lesson, whereby at the end of the day, we expect somebody to do something practically. A case in hand which may not work in written literature. Okay? These are things that happen. Practical. I think there is that noise in the background of a cock, right? That one also, it can explain still the aspect of oral African literature, because those days, that one can show us how communication was passed on. It is not like this era whereby we have phones. You can just set an alarm. You can make a phone call. Okay. We can also look at how communication was passed on, whereby we had drums. Okay. It is a little bit broad. And that communication was not just meant maybe you speak to pass. Okay. It was a communication in most cases whereby riddles were used, proverbs were used. Okay. But then there is something we should not take for granted. That is like us understanding that when we are looking at oral literature, especially oral African literature, it is our identity. It is basically African identity. It is basically us looking at the concepts that earlier on took place in Africa. Though we should be very keen that generations keep on changing, and information also keeps on changing, but oral African literature, we should not take it for far. Okay. In other words, like if we get time, we can get more from elders. We can also consult the archives of information, these libraries, for us to understand more about oral African literature. I think our class has been good today. Any question, please?
No
How
more
many?
questions. I don't
Oh.
have a question.
What of Anne? Have you understood anything?
Okay, I have understood, but
Mm.
what I'm trying to ask, Moses,
Yes. Yes, please.
is oral African literature, and we know that oral is okay something. Okay, orally is passing on something using the mouth. Eh?
Mm-mm.
How is dancing connected to the oral African literature? The dancing here, I see the pictures and things. How is it connected? Like how is I thought the oral is the storytelling, riddles, and these things of riddles and those things. Okay, they are passed on orally, like storytelling, those things. But I don't understand dancing. How is dancing
Okay.
passed on orally?
Okay, basically, when we look at dancing, dancing is like, there is that aspect of culture, okay? We're looking at all African literature in line with culture. So, culture, there are key elements. There are things that identify our culture, like the food, the way we dress, the way we dance, like issues of leadership. That is like still portraying the aspect of culture. So, in most cases, when these elders would sit down, they would take the young ones through all that orally. Like when you're dancing, you do this and this. Then in most cases, occasions would happen. I think the best example, we would use the novel Things Fall Apart. We look at how those riddles are used. We look at how the dances are manifested and so on. Okay? And is it clear now?
Yeah, I have fixed it.
Okay. Thank you. I think that is the best now. Okay. Yes, I think let's first turn on our videos, then we conclude. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, fine. I think we have now come to the end of our lesson. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, we'll meet next time.